Good morning, everybody. Before we start with our review, I wanted to tell you that instead of breaking the Bruce Springsteen and No Nukes movie and record reviews into separate reviews, we're going to do one big, long review for all of it. In 1979, Graham Nash, Jackson Browne, Bonnie Raitt, and John Hall organized a series of concerts to combat the use of nuclear power, and a organization was formed called Muse, um, um, which 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 is basically an organization that combats the use of nuclear power. And they organized a series of concerts called No Nukes at Battery Park and Madison Square Garden in New York. And there were a bunch of performers on that bill, including for the first time in about a year, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and Graham Nash also did solo segments. James Taylor and Carly Simon, the Doobie Brothers, Nicolette Larson, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, um, Ry Cooder, Gil Scott-Heron, and a bunch of others. And they they made they decided to film. Oh, and Jesse Colin Young. And they decided to film a concert film and record a record. And not every act that was in the concert film appeared on the record. Hence the absence of Poco and a couple others. Oh, and another performer that was on the bill and appeared on both the concert film and the record was Jackson Browne. And so not every performer appeared on both the concert film and the record. And I have several favorite performances on both the record and the movie. Among them are Ry Cooder's version of Elvis's Little Sister that appears on the record but not in the movie. Nicolette Larson's Lot of Love, which was a huge hit for her that Neil wrote. Uh, um, Cry to Me, which is by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Tom didn't appear on either the record or the concert film, I don't think. He does appear with Bruce and the E Street Band in their set, but we'll get to that in a second. Um, and like I said, along with the performances at Madison Square Garden, they also did a performance at Battery Park, and I believe that's where the version of Get Together comes from. Um, another, another, another one of my favorite performances from the record is Bonnie's versions of Runaway and John Prine's Angel from Montgomery. And there's a song that I believe was written for the No Nukes concerts called Power by John Hall of Orleans. And one of my all-time favorite performances from the movie and the record is James and Carly's version of Mockingbird, and James also does Honey Don't Leave LA and Your Smiling Face. Now, Your Smiling Face is only in the movie, but Mockingbird is also. Now, Carly was famously inflicted with stage fright, and you can see it on her face though. But so anyway, let's see. Now some of the acts that were approached to be part of the No Nukes concerts include the Eagles, but they couldn't do it at the time. Now, a couple of the other performers that gave standout performances include the Doobie Brothers. As a finale, there was an all-star jam of Taking It to the Streets with members of the Doobie Brothers and James Taylor and just the whole lineup, or most of it anyway. Now, James Taylor, Carly, and I believe Graham Nash did a version of Dylan's The Times They're Changing, which is in both the movie and the record. Now, as far as Jackson Browne goes, the songs that were on the record of his were Crow in the Cradle and one of my favorites, Before the Deluge. And one of the songs that appears in the movie is Running on Empty. Now, Graham Nash wrote a song for the No Nukes concerts entitled Barrel of Pain, which appears in the movie but does not appear on the record. Now, let's get to the Bruce Springsteen portion of the review. Now there are some songs from Bruce's set on the No Nukes record, but in 2021, Bruce finally released his complete set of the No Nukes, his complete No Nukes set on both CD and Blu-ray. Now I was super excited when this finally came out because I'm a big E Street Band fan, and I was always wondering what he he did other than the Detroit medley and Stay with Jackson. And around this time, um, Bruce had either just recorded the album The River or was getting ready to, because he does, and The River is one of my favorite Springsteen numbers. He does a version of The River on in his set, and the other songs, he does kind of a cross section of what he has out at the time. The other songs include um, Badlands, um, Thunder Road, Born to Run, and like I said, the Detroit medley, and which encompasses Devil with a Blue Dress On, and Good Golly Miss Molly, and he also does Stay with Jackson Browne, Rosemary Butler, and Tom Petty. But he also does the obligatory Born to Run. Um, but he opens, or he also does one of my favorite songs, Badlands. I love that song. Um, and then he closes his set with a version of Buddy Holly's Rave On, and he also does a version of Gary U.S. Bonds' song Quarter to Three, which, on a side note, Clarence Clemons would do a version of that when he toured with Ringo Starr and the All-Star Band in 1989. So so I hope you enjoy this, and I give it 5 stars. Enjoy the package.